What's up, everybody? It's a beautiful day here in Central Florida. I got a lot of packages going out today, but before I get my day started, I want to share with you guys some of the stuff that I use around my warehouse and in my reselling business that makes my life a lot easier and makes this job a lot easier. So let's get started. First couple things I always have laying around. I often use tape measures, but yardsticks like this are good. You can usually find these at flea markets, yard sales for just a couple bucks. I got a nice stainless one with like clear numbers. A lot of clothing resellers use these too. I'm not a clothing reseller, but these are nice to just lay down and take pictures for a lot of items that you want to make sure the buyers can see the proper measurements. Next thing I like to have around is these jeweler loops. You can use these for a lot of different things. I got a couple different kind here. This is like a traditional jeweler loop that you'll often see, but this is great if you ever get jewelry or you got to look up small serial numbers on a small item. Just a lot of different reasons, especially as you get older, your eyesight might not be as good as it used to be. So we need tools like this to make our jobs a little easier. This one is my favorite though. It actually has a little break point here. You can get these kind of things on Amazon. And this one's cool because it has a light. And oftentimes when you're trying to use a jeweler's loop like this, by crowding in on something, it's hard to see. You're creating all these shadows on the piece of jewelry. So this one's cool. It has two different lights, a bright LED light and then a softer light like this, like a purple light. So this is the one I use the most. I love this thing. And I just got this recently. I bought a diamond tester and this came with it. And I use this way more than the diamond tester. Next item we have is called a Scotty peeler. It's just a little tool. Some people don't have fingernails. I don't like bite my fingernails or anything, so I can use them most of the time to get stickers off, but this one is a lot better and it saves getting all that residue under your fingers. It just slides up under any sticker and kind of like helps you pry it off, kind of the same exact thing your fingernail would do. And it's called a Scotty peeler and it's spelled just how it sounds. And while we're on the topic of getting stickers off of things, this is one of my favorite things to have around. This is Goo Gone. This gets anything off. You can actually use WD-40 too. It has a similar effect, but I like to have this around. It's the main thing it's used for and it works great. If I get something at Goodwill, you know, there's stickers often, when I peel off the sticker, there'll often be some residue left, and just scraping it off, it looks like crap. I'll just spray a couple of squirts of this on there, use a rag and some little bit of elbow grease, and it comes right off. And this stuff works good for almost like cleaning up metal and stuff. It's almost doubles as a good cleaner when you're taking those stickers off. So I actually want to show you how good this Goo Gone works. So I got this at a local auction and I just like peeled the sticker off as best I could. So now I'm going to use the Goo Gone and get all this sticky residue off. So this is the before. So this is after, and it only took me about 60 seconds. I got a little bit on my rag, wiped it off, got the sticker residue wet, then I was able to peel that off. Then I just went back over it a couple times, a little bit of elbow grease. And you can also see how it like doubles as a cleaner as well. I kind of just like spread it out across the top there and you can see how shiny black and clean that is. Now obviously I wouldn't recommend using it as a cleaner, but it's definitely great for getting the sticky residue off. This is something I recommend every reseller should use. If you're shipping out a lot of items, these things are a lifesaver. These are called box resizing tools. I have a couple different ones here. Like this is one I got and it goes all the way down to 15 inches, so I could cut 15 inches. I know it looks like a weird contraption, so I'm gonna show you how it works here in a minute. And then I got this one also, which is a little different, but it works good for smaller boxes. This little spinner wheel that makes the perforation on the cardboard works better on this tool than this tool in my opinion, but sometimes I need to cut down deeper in a box. So let me show you how it works. Say I had a box like this, but I was just shipping a small item that only came up to say halfway up the box, maybe to here, right? So we got to cut this box down because we don't want all that dead space, because oftentimes when you're shipping, they're charging you dimensional weight. So every inch you can take off a box could save you money. So let's say we want to cut it down, say 5 inches. So we set this to 5 inches. This little piece actually hugs the side of the box there. And then the perforation tool there, that little spinner wheel on the bottom, you kind of push that in with this handle and then it makes a perforation along the edge of this box, right? So I'll do that on all four sides, take my knife or my razor knife, cut the sides down to where my perforation marks were, and then it'll fold perfect on those lines, and it'll make the box look like it was made to be that size. Because when you try to just cut down the sides with a razor knife or scissors and then fold it yourself, it never looks structurally, it never looks as good as it will when you're using a box like this. And sometimes presentation is important, right? We're running these businesses, we're shipping out used items, so if they get a nice clean box that's folded correctly, it makes a good first impression before they even break into the box. So another thing you're always gonna need is some scales. I have 2 different scales here. I ship a lot of different items. As you can see behind me, we got small, we got large, we got medium, we got everything here. So like for most of my packages, we're using this small, like basically a kitchen scale. There's all different kinds of these. I actually found this at Goodwill for like $4. Oh, there's a price tag on the back. Goodwill, $4.98. So yeah, you can find these at yard sales, Goodwill usually. But if you're in a pinch and you're just getting started, you need to go maybe to Walmart, buy something like this to get started. But the problem with this, say I have this box here, I put it on there, it's hard for me to see that digital readout, right? The box is kind of covering it up. So once you get into these medium or large packages, you definitely need a different option. So this is the scale I use for most of my packages, or the larger packages I should say. And it has a detached readable face. Like I recommend no matter what scale you get one with this detached readout, and you can find them on Amazon for pretty decent prices. I actually went to Office Depot, saw this one for like $139. No chance I'm paying $139 for something like this. You know what they say, like in our business, retail is for suckers. So I came home, searched on eBay, actually found this one for I think like $70 free shipping from a fellow reseller like one of you guys. And I picked it up, and this thing's like solid as a tank. And just so you know, this is the Dymo S100. All right, there's just a few more things I wanted to show you around my warehouse. One thing I highly recommend, but this is not for everybody. This is just for if you're running a pretty solid reselling business and you're looking for a good computer to make your life a little bit easier. I recommend getting an all-in-one. So I ran my business for several years on like small laptops and things like that. So this other desk we have here is an absolute mess right here. Sorry about that. But this is the Rollo label printer. They actually make this in wireless as well, which I probably need to upgrade to the wireless sooner or later. But this is a great tool. We use this label printer. I think I've printed probably at least 10,000 labels through here. It works like a charm. We don't have to buy ink cartridges for our printer anymore. This thing pays for itself. So you got to get a label printer of some kind if you're going to be a reseller, especially if you're going to do a lot of volume. Painter's tape like this is another great thing to have around. You can write on it with marker if you need to make notes on it, things like that. And then another thing it's great for is, say we sell like a Kenwood receiver and it comes with the remote. We just use this to tape the remote to the top so we don't like lose the remote or forget to package it when we make the sale, and everything kind of stays together. And on the topic of things staying together, we use a lot of bags like this. I recommend getting clear because then you can just see what the items are when they're on the shelf. But same kind of deal. Say we get a PlayStation 2, it has like a memory card, 2 games, and a controller. I can fit all of that in this bag, wrap it up, and put it on the shelf so everything stays bundled together as it should. The last thing I want to show you guys in the office is just these whiteboards. We get them at the dollar store. I even bought a 25 pack on Walmart.com for a few bucks. I mean, it might have been like 20 bucks, less than $1 each. But you could see like with the white backdrop, and we usually edit our photos. And if you guys stay till the end of this video, I'll show you a really cool editing trick that we use to edit our photos. But we use an iPhone, so I don't know, but it might work on everyone. But I do got to show you this trick, so stay tuned. But yeah, the white backboard works great for photos. We use this all the time, so that's kind of our cheap homemade photo station. So in this part of my warehouse, I kind of want to show you guys my box organization. When I first got this warehouse, we just had a huge pile of boxes over here. We used to call it the box pile. But I had to come up with a solution, right? So I saw something similar to this in a local UPS store where they had these like sectioned out for different size boxes. So that's kind of what we've done here. Like this says 13 to 15 inches. This says 17 to 19, 20 plus, and that's the measurement on the long side. We have all our shorter boxes here that are like, you know, in the 10 to 12 range. And then I have a really big like box right here that I just throw a bunch of smaller shipping boxes in that we can kind of grab and go. And then on top of my packing station over here, which is full of inventory, usually there's nothing here, and this is where we package all of our stuff. This is a really big packing table. We got stuff under here like loose fill, magazines, newspapers, things like that. And then up top we have a lot of boxes that we commonly use, like different sizes. And then I have a marked 9x6x4, 8x6x6. That's just a good organizational tool you guys could use at your warehouse. Something similar, some kind of setup. You don't want the boxes taking up half your space. So when it comes to inventory systems, it's very important. I used to just put stuff all around this warehouse, and then when it would sell, I'd have a really tough time finding certain items. Or I'd be searching. I'd spend so much time searching for stuff. So I came up with like an inventory system, or I might have found it from another reseller or something. So we have totes, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got a few more around the warehouse. So then when something sells and it says tote number 8, I know exactly where to go and find it, right? So you want to use the custom SKU line when you're making a listing. It gives you an option. It's called a custom SKU. Only you can see that. The buyer can't see that. Nobody else can see it but you. It's just for inventory purposes. So in that custom SKU line, we will say tote 8 or shelf 1. So you can see here, this is shelf 2. This is shelf 3, shelf 4, shelf 5, so forth and so on. So if this Bose system sells today, it's going to say shelf 5. So I can come to this one little section of my warehouse and I know what shelf to find the item on. This has been a huge time saver, and time is money in this business. So use a tote inventory system, use a shelf numbering system, and definitely use that custom SKU line in eBay, and you'll never look back. It will change. It's a game changer, 100%. That's probably the best tip of this whole video. All the little tools you can, manage without, but doing a good solid inventory system like that will save you hundreds and hundreds of hours a year, which translates to weeks of your time, weeks of your year that you could be making money. So the last thing I said I would show you is the cool editing trick. So I'll do a screen grab and show you guys how that works. Okay, you can see in this video here, like I'm clicking the item that I want to edit, and then I click the 3 dots at the top. So then I'm going to go to the exposure. That's usually the only thing I change with these. You can see how it's kind of like a dim picture, and then it brightens up as I make the exposure go higher, makes the background like stark white. So now I can click these 3 dots at the top, click copy edits. And then once I copy this edit, I can go back to the library. Now I'm going to select all the items that I want to edit in the same manner. So I'm just showing you with these 2 pair of sneakers here, or a pair of boots and a pair of sneakers. So I pick the items that I want to highlight. Now I go down to paste edits. Now watch this. You could see as they all change and brighten up. Now I do this to all my photos just because it makes it so much better. Like the quality of the pictures looks like a more professional photo, as you could see, with without the shadows and the nice white background. It's so nice. So I do all my photos like this, and this new trick of copy and pasting. That is all I have today for you fine people. I have so much to do today, so I was glad to share a few minutes with you guys and show you guys the most important tools that I use for kind of helping me around here stay efficient and effective with getting inventory in and out the door. So good luck in your sale. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace.